Alright, March 3rd, 2019. Just watched Roseanne a little bit freaking out about, I guess, people that she thinks are attacking Judaism. And I'm just going to say for my record on that, because everybody's freaking out about it, right? Ilhan and Roseanne and whoever, I don't know. I was on Tumblr, and frankly, I'm not going to say that I agree with Ilhan Omar, but some of the quotes that I've seen from her might echo some of my beliefs on the whole Jewish Palestinian issue. Of course, I'm from Pakistan. My family comes from Pakistan, so with that uh, Muslim background, not into being a Muslim, obviously. No offense to Islam. I understand that Muhammad was a feminist for the way back when. And you can see that it's like, yeah. So what I see happening with the Abrahamic religions is Muhammad came in and had some final say, and the two older versions of it really got pissed off about it and have just been pissed off until then. And everybody's just like squabbling back and forth. And it's the same thing as what's going on now. It's like everybody's like, mine, that's my religion, that's my religion. So Jewish people were the first people. That's how I see it from what I've seen. I don't really know um, Torah. I don't know Torah at all. I know stories around the Torah. I have, well, I think I loaned it to Margaret right now, but a book where it's written by women where they take the stories of the biblical times and they write them, each story from the perspective of a Jewish woman, from the perspective of a Christian woman, from the perspective of a Muslim woman. And right now I can't think of all the different stories, but the one that comes to mind is the one that's about Hagar, the Handmaid's Tale, uh, where it's Sarah, right? Sarah was Abraham's wife, and she gives him Hagar, and Hagar has Ishmael. And really, for me, what it looks like is it looks like Abraham was henpecked by Sarah, kind of, possibly. Or maybe Hagar and Ishmael were really being bad. But check out how it would feel if you were Hagar and Ishmael. Here you are, this handmaiden chick, given by your mistress to this old dude so that he could have sex with you. You could have his baby. Then you're all like being treated well. Then, oh my gosh, then the wife gets pregnant, and all of a sudden you're just shit again. You're nothing again. Your kid is nothing again. You see everything just taken away from you. In domestic violence, they call that pulling the rug out from someone in a situation. And it's something that domestically violent people will do over and over and over again because it's fun for them. And I'm not saying that Abraham or Sarah was intentionally doing this, and I can see it from the perspective of both. You know, Ishmael was 14 in the Christian side. He would have been, and my guess is that he was probably 7, because the other side says that he was a baby, an infant, and it could have been anything. But all the ways that it works out, it just sounds like dysfunctional family relationships, and anyone with an iota of compassion would be able to see Hagar's side as well, and Ishmael's side as well, that they just got dumped. And and also you can see Sarah's side because here she is with this, and women frankly are weird about their sons. And apparently that's biological. Even the milk that a mother's body produces for a boy baby has, like, I guess, a higher fat and protein content than the milk that's produced for their girl babies, because ultimately they know biologically, on a biological level, that daughters are competition and sons are a resource. So with this Jewish stuff, and then in modern times, I mean, that's just like past history. And I know that in the Middle East, they just like, and in the Far East too, and apparently here too, people just go back in their bloodlines for 1,000 years and act like they knew these people personally, but they don't. Nobody knows anybody personally from way back when, not even the clairvoyants, for 100% sure. But so yeah, I got in some argument with someone on Tumblr. I don't even know who it was. It was just some random person that messaged me to spam me about something that I posted. Probably that was pro-Palestinian or considered pro-Palestinian. But I'm not into Hamas either. I'm not into any of the terrorism, either side. And I mean, you can just look. Look, all these years I've wondered what the heck were the Jewish people doing? First, they got in the cattle cars and let themselves get massacred, which I've come to understand that if you're going to be part of civilized society, then you have to operate on certain assumptions of civility, blah, blah, blah. And what would be if they would have fought back instead of just being civilized and getting into the cars, they almost would have killed themselves in a sense anyways, because they would have killed the person that they thought they were, and then they would have been a whole different person. So so I can see the choice as choosing death to stay themselves. And I can see how awful that was. But here's some other facts. Right when that was going on, or just before that had gone on, over in the Congo, 16 million Congolese got killed. They were running around with no hands because Leopold was cutting their hands off. So, like, the Holocaust is everywhere and has been everywhere. And I'm not denying the Jewish Holocaust in specific as its own incident, but I'm saying it's not the only Holocaust. Um, it's frankly not the hugest Holocaust, although it's probably the hugest Holocaust in modern times of a civilized society, since the Congolese people didn't count as civilized, but still they were human. If someone did that to an animal, and like a puppy or a bird or anything, removed one of its limbs, I would feel the same amount of grief. So to me, it doesn't matter whether they were people that were running around in the jungle without any clothes on, or whether they were people that were in the city getting in cattle cars. It was still like living beings being tortured, which I think that I've done my amount of torturing too when I was a crazy teenager, and so like I've tried to make up for that my whole life. So anyway, and then at this point, I don't even. I've always been like, what? Why does our country give Israel so much money? Since then, Roseanne has said that Israel or I don't know if it's Israel or Jerusalem though, but she said that that's the only place where all three of the Abrahamic religions can get together in the Middle East without getting in a fight, which I don't know that that's really true, but I don't really know. So maybe that would be a good reason, but the other reason I could think of would be a Q-ish reason, and a code-ish reason, and but but then I look at what Israel's done. It's like I don't know the geography there or the tribes there or anything, but what it looks like to me as an outsider is that they went straight from being holocausted and traumatized and murdered and massacred by the German people in Europe, and then they went over and started doing it to Palestinian people. So what's that about? That's what I want to know. I don't have anything against Judaism. Um, I like Jewish people. I don't like Jewish people. It depends on the people. Probably it would be the same with Palestinian people. I like Palestinian people. I don't like, depends on the people. Same with anybody else. I have, and I probably will again overgeneralize and bitch about entire groups of people. But look, I'm looking at other people doing the same thing. And as far as even the Satanists, like I think I don't know what the hell is going on with there, but you can look at their book, and their book says a lot nicer stuff as far as following social codes. But then they do turn everything upside down and twist it around and make it inside out and backwards and deformed. And they are involved in wrecking families. And the child sacrifice, the way I see it, aside from this, I really am wondering about if so I do think that they sacrifice people, but the right side sacrifices people too, but they're more like I guess killers with capitalism. But what I've seen is when I think of sacrificing people, I think of right to life but no right to live. Um I think of the way that 9/10 of the social system here is suppressed by a small amount of really shitty people. Really, really shitty people. I mean, there is some nice people in the upper crust here, but they're real quiet. And the only people that run around are just really shitty people. Okay, that was probably an overgeneralization. But there, here in this small town, what I saw was what I saw. I can't overgeneralize. I'm just going to say that I know that there are good people, but I think that a lot of people are caught up into networks that they didn't even quite understand. And certainly I've danced around in and out of all these networks my whole life, and I didn't understand them either. But yeah, so that's my deal with Judaism. I like the religion itself seems fairly interesting. I like the concept in Orthodox Judaism where you go into the mikvah, the water. You go down the stairs and go into the water after a period to get purified, and then you go back up on the other side of the stairs. I like that. And I like some of the other rituals because food rituals to me are like special, and Judaism has a lot of food rituals. And because it pulls in some of the old religion from before Abrahamic times when it was women's stuff. And so I think that Judaism, the other thing I like about it is that my understanding is that it's matrilinear. Like you get it from your mom, it passes down through the mother's line. But yeah, I've said rude things about it too, just like I've said rude things about everything, and everything has said rude things about me. And um, would I apologize any further? I think I've apologized quite a bit, honestly. And I think I've spent my entire life working to be a better person before I could even consider working to figuring. And frankly, I don't understand the money game, obviously. Capitalism is not my thing. I think that being a housewife is like a social enterprise, and socialism in itself is running a household, and really that was all. That was all I was supposed to do in life is run a household and be a mom. Super bright with tons of potential or not, that's what would have made me happy. A large house, numerous kids, cats and dogs, fenced yard, and a garden. Hillary Clinton does not think that's okay though. And and neither do anybody else. Until President Trump right now. This is the first time I've seen uh, actually wives given any respect in this country. So, first time. That's all.